Hey, how's it going? Lee Hayward here, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Podcast. Now, today I'm doing a solo episode, but I've got a good one in store for you because it's all about fat loss and why people struggle to get the results they want despite following all the latest fat loss and dietary crazes. And we're going to break down different dietary approaches, the pros and the cons, why certain approaches work, why certain approaches don't work, and really get down to the fundamentals because this is a confusing topic for so many people. Some people are saying, hey, should I cut out carbs? Should I cut out this? Should I cut out that? Should I go intermittent fasting? Should I go vegan? Should I go carnivore? There's so many contradictory approaches. And yet, when you look into these different approaches, you will see success from all these different approaches. Like you will see vegans who get great shape and lose weight. You will see people who follow a carnivore diet who lose weight and get in great shape. You will see people who follow a Mediterranean diet or anything in between who lose weight and get in great shape. So it's not so much the diet, it must be some underlying factors or some underlying principles behind all these diets. And that's what you need to focus on. So that's what we're going to cover in today's podcast. But before we get into that, I just have a few little housekeeping notes that I want to share with you. First off, if you're watching this on YouTube, which I know most people do, I would like to ask you if you could do me a favor and subscribe to the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. Because I was just looking at the stats, and only 20% of the viewers are actually subscribed. 80% of you who are watching this right now are not subscribed. So if you enjoy this podcast and you want to stay up to date with all the podcasts and help to support the channel, please click on that subscribe button because that helps me reach more people and get this message out there. So if you could do that, it would mean a lot and help support the channel. Another thing that I want to share with you before we get into today's podcast is I'm getting ready to host another Lose Your Gut Challenge. Now, if you've been following my website and my content for a while, you're probably familiar with the Lose Your Gut Challenge. If you're not, then this is something you'll definitely want to check out because it is a free 5-day virtual coaching program where I'm going to take you behind the scenes into the Muscle After 40 Blueprint program, kind of pull back the curtain and show you step by step how you can lay out a sustainable fitness and fat loss program so that you can lose the gut, fill out your frame with lean muscle, and do so while enjoying your life in the process. I mean, that is the key. You have to enjoy whatever program you're following, or it's not going to last. I mean, yeah, you can suffer it out in the short term with some extreme low-calorie cutting diet and maybe make some great results in the short term. But if it feels like you're suffering it out on a diet and you don't enjoy what it is that you're doing, then it's not going to last forever. Like you cannot suffer it out for the rest of your life. You have to learn how to enjoy the process. And I'm just going to kind of take you behind the scenes here and show you what the Lose Your Gut Challenge is all about. So I actually posted this up on my website. And if you want, you can go check it out. Just head on over to leehayward.com. It's currently the pinned post right up there at the top of the website. But it's our Lose Your Gut Start Again Fall Challenge. And this outlines the system that I used to lose my dad bod and get back in shape after 40. And this is how the whole Muscle After 40 Blueprint program came about, right? Was following this type of approach and doing so in a healthy and sustainable fashion. So again, the Lose Your Gut Challenge, it is a free 5-day coaching program where you're going to get a battle-tested nutrition protocol so that you can get lasting results without cutting carbs or starving yourself on some crazy crash cutting diet. You're going to get daily accountability tasks and check-ins so that you don't lose motivation or get lost along the way. There's going to be live video coaching every day during the 5-day challenge where I'm going to explain everything that you need to do and how to do it to ensure that you're on the fast track to losing your gut while enjoying the process. And you're also going to get follow-along workouts that you can do, whether that's at home or at the gym. We're going to have you covered so that you have everything that you need during the 5-day Lose Your Gut Challenge. And at the end of the challenge, we're also going to have a graduation workshop where I'm going to outline the complete roadmap to the entire Muscle After 40 Blueprint program so that you can follow this to achieve a lasting and sustainable fitness and fat loss transformation. Right? This is a free 5-day virtual coaching program. And I want to clarify something here. In the Lose Your Gut Challenge, you're not going to technically lose your gut in 5 days, but you're going to learn the strategies that you need to implement in order to lose your gut. So it's 5 days of coaching, but it's going to take more than 5 days of work to actually achieve the results. But as you can see by the photos here on the website, there's a lot of guys who went through the whole program and did lose their gut and kept it off while enjoying the process. And you're going to learn exactly how to do the same for yourself. So if you would like to sign up for the Lose Your Gut Challenge, just head on over to leehayward.com, check out that top pinned post on the blog, and you can register for the 5-day challenge. And I'll have links to all this down in the show notes below, so you can check it out down there. Now, you may be wondering, okay, what's the catch behind the Lose Your Gut Challenge? This sounds too good to be true. You can't be just giving away something for nothing, right? It can't be truly free. And the truth of the matter is, it is. It is a free 5-day Lose Your Gut Challenge where I'm going to be coaching you, teaching you, providing you with the tools, tactics, and strategies that you need. Now, it's basically the first phase of the Muscle After 40 Blueprint program, because if you're familiar with that program, it's broken down into 3 phases. The first phase is the metabolic reboot, and that's what we're going to go into during the Lose Your Gut Challenge. We're going to be laying that foundation so that you can achieve a metabolic reboot, and it's going to set you up for the next phase of the program, which is the Fat Loss Accelerator, where you can really carve out that lean, defined abdominal definition. And then the final phase of the program is the lean gain body recomp, where once you've gotten your body fat down to a level that you're comfortable with, then you can focus on filling out your frame with lean muscle mass and improving your strength and athletic performance. So you're going to be getting the first phase of the program absolutely free. Now, a lot of people go through that first phase of the program and they're satisfied with it. I mean, they just want to lose a few pounds, feel better, get back on track with a good exercise and nutrition program. And if that's you, then that's fantastic. You can go through the Lose Your Gut Challenge and you'll probably get everything you need. But I know that there's going to be a certain percentage, about 10% of you who go through this program, who are going to be hungry action takers. You're going to want to really take this to the next level and get the best possible results. And for those of you who are serious about taking it to the next level, then you're more than welcome to join me with the full advanced Muscle After 40 Blueprint program. And if you decide to come on board with that, I have a special offer for those of you who go through the Lose Your Gut Challenge, where you can get a discount on the Muscle After 40 program and come on board and join our VIP group. So that's available as well, but it's totally optional. Like, there's no pressure or obligation to come on board for coaching. It's basically join the Lose Your Gut Challenge, take it in, milk it for what it's worth. And if you do want some extra help afterwards, it's available, but it's totally up to you. So with that being said, let's get ready and jump into today's podcast, where we're going to dive into the fundamentals of fat loss and break down the core strategies that you're going to need to follow if you want to lose your gut and keep it off for the rest of your life. It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward. And in today's video, we are going to discuss the secret to fat loss. There's so much confusion and information overload and all that kind of stuff out there these days, and people are still struggling to lose body fat. Despite the fact that we have more diets available than ever before, despite the fact that there's more gyms available than ever before, there's more supplements available than ever before, more books about diet and exercise than ever before, people are fatter than ever before. How is this possible? Why is it? The secret to all this, it comes down to calories. Calories in versus calories out. That's it. You could go keto, you could go carnivore, you could go paleo, you could intermittent fast, you could do all these different diets. You could go on the cabbage soup diet, the grapefruit diet, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, you name it. It all comes down to calories in versus calories out. I mean, even if you never ate another carbohydrate for the rest of your life, but you were still in a calorie surplus from excess protein and excess fat calories, you could still gain weight. Even if you fasted for 23 hours a day and you only ate for 1 hour a day, one meal a day, but you overate in that one meal, you could still get fat. If you dieted for 6 days a week, but then had one big old cheat meal on the weekend, you could still get fat. It comes down to calories in versus calories out over the long term. That's the kicker here, over the long term. Because a lot of people, they'll diet super strict for the short term, but they're not looking long term. And to kind of just prove my point here, imagine you saved money all month long, right? Like you were really frugal, saving every penny, but then one weekend you went to Vegas and you blew it all. You could be broke after that one weekend in Vegas where you blew it all on the blackjack tables and the slot machines and whatever, even though you were saving money all month long. The same applies with nutrition. Like, you could be following a healthy eating plan. You could be in a calorie deficit. You could be exercising every day. You could be counting your carbs and macros and blah, 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 and doing all the things right, but then have a big old dirty cheat on the weekend and undo all the work that you've done. It comes down to long-term averages, not just short-term bursts. And this is where a lot of people screw up and a lot of people get frustrated, is because they're focusing on the short-term burst and saying, well, it's not working, but they're not thinking long-term, right? Again, use that analogy of money. You could save money all week long, but then if you go and blow it all on the weekend, you're still going to be broke. You could diet all week long, but then you go have a big old dirty cheat on the weekend, you're still going to get fat, right? You need to think long-term and bigger picture. And in this video, I'm going to cover some strategies for how you can achieve long-term fat loss and actually enjoy the process, or at least not feel miserable during the process. Like, that's the most important thing. You have to be able to enjoy it. You have to be able to sustain it and make it part of your lifestyle. And this is one of the biggest problems when it comes to fat loss, because a lot of people think of the extreme all or nothing approach. Like, I'm going to suffer it out for the short term, lose all the weight, get in shape, and then go back to my old habits. Well, the problem with that is if you go back to your old habits, you're going to go back to the way that those old habits created. So you're going to regain the weight. You'll get fat again. And this is the reality for most people who go on a diet. They yo-yo up and down. And this is what happens over and over and over again. So we need to think of a lifestyle change, not just going on a diet. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty details on this, you need to realize that there's a difference between weight loss and fat loss. And a lot of novice dieters don't understand the difference here. And I'll give you an example. If you go on a very low carbohydrate diet, you are going to drop weight rapidly, like literally several pounds within the first week. And it's not that you're dropping several pounds of body fat, it's you're dropping water weight, because with carbohydrates come water storage. When you consume carbohydrates and the carbohydrates get stored in the muscle cells, it's referred to stored glycogen. For every gram of stored glycogen, your body's going to retain 3 grams of water. So that's what gives your muscles the full look. Right? You see bodybuilders, they'll carb deplete and then carb load before a bodybuilding show. This is why, because they want to have that full look in the muscles. Now, if you just go very low carb, you're going to deplete the glycogen, and you're also going to deplete the water that's stored along with the glycogen, so the weight's going to drop rapidly. But it's not fat weight, it's just water and glycogen for the most part. And technically, that's lean mass. And that's going to carry over into making you feel flat, depleted, and it's actually going to drain your energy in the gym. So you'll be working out and you're not going to get a pump. You're going to feel flat as a pancake, and your energy levels are going to be down the toilet. And that's the reality of most people who go on a low carbohydrate diet. Now, there's a few unicorns out there who actually say, hey, I love low carb dieting and I follow it and it works for me and all that. And if that's you, then great. Continue your low carb dieting if that's the case. But I know for most people, low carb diets are like a quick fix, short-term thing. It's not something that they can sustain and enjoy for the rest of their life. I certainly can. I can't see myself going the rest of my life without eating carbohydrates. Ain't gonna happen. I love my carbohydrates and I'm gonna eat them as a regular part of my diet. And I focus on a well-balanced diet. Equal ratios of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. And I find that when you eat a well-balanced diet, things just work better. You don't go through the ups and downs of mood swings and energy fluctuations and all that mental fog and everything else. You actually feel good, you feel satiated, and it's easier to sustain over the long term. So that's what I'm looking for here, is long-term sustainability, not these short-term fluctuations and crash diets and all this kind of BS. So, few simple strategies that you can start implementing right away to help tip the odds in favor of maximum fat loss over the long term. The first one, fill up on natural, unprocessed foods. Lean protein, fruits, and vegetables. When you sit down to a meal, fill up on one ingredient foods. What's one ingredient foods? It's foods that don't need a nutrition label. Like if I go to the butcher and I buy a chicken, or I buy a steak, or I buy a fish, do I need a nutrition label on that? No, because what is it? It's chicken, it's steak, it's fish, it's one ingredient foods. When I go to the produce section and I buy an apple, a potato, a head of broccoli, a head of lettuce, or something like that, it's a one ingredient food. It doesn't need a nutrition label. That's the type of stuff you want to fill up on. Natural, unprocessed, one ingredient foods. So if you base your meals around those type of foods, what's going to happen is it's going to give you the volume and the eating satisfaction and the satiation your body needs. It's hard to overeat on single ingredient foods. It really is. It's hard to become obese eating protein, fruits, and vegetables. In fact, I've never seen anybody become obese on just natural, unprocessed protein, fruits, and vegetables. I haven't seen it yet. Now, again, maybe there's some people out there who have, but it's rare. Most people who are overweight, it's because they're eating processed foods. Cakes and cookies and ice cream and French fries and pizza and hot dogs and cookies and candy and whatever, like stuff that is man-made, manufactured, processed, and foods that are designed to be more palatable, foods that are designed to make you consume and not get satiated. Just think of eating potato chips. Like, just think, okay, we got a big bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, and you start eating those things. I mean, you can eat the whole freaking bag and still be hungry afterwards. Like, it doesn't fill you up, even though it is jam-packed with calories. So on a calories in, calories out basis, you just consumed a massive amount of food, but on an eating satiation and satiety basis, it doesn't satisfy you. Whereas if you were eating salad, like you have a big bag of kale salad versus your big bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, like, could you binge on kale salad? Probably not. It's a lot harder to do because the fiber, the volume, the roughage is going to fill you up. And that is what's going to give you the satiation. Like, eating that type of stuff is going to fill you. Whereas eating the potato chips, it's just going to make you more hungry. And food companies have engineered this. Like, they're not idiots. They've spent a lot of money and done a lot of research and stuff to come up with the ideal flavor and crunch and texture and everything else to make you want to eat more, so that you eat more, you buy more, they make more money, and it's just this spiral where they're selling more junk food, you're buying more junk food, you're eating more junk food, and you're not getting satiated from it. You just want more and more and more, right? It's like a drug addiction in that sense. And it really is. I mean, food addiction, drug addictions, they're very similar. So we want to get away from those foods and eat the natural, unprocessed foods. Lean protein, chicken, fish, meat, eggs, dairy products like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Those are some good sources of protein. For your vegetables, pretty much anything goes. I mean, especially a lot of green vegetables. For your fruits, again, pretty much anything goes. Like, single ingredient foods. Fill up on the protein, the veg, and the fruits, and I'm telling you, you're going to fill your belly without giving it a lot of extra calories, and it's going to give you that eating satiation that you want. Another big one that you need to focus on when it comes to fat loss is your activity level. The more calories you burn, the leaner you're going to be. And you need to think of big picture things, not just the workout that you do in the gym. And a lot of guys actually overestimate how many calories they burn when they're working out in the gym. Like, lifting weights, even though it's stressful and it's intense and everything else, doesn't burn a lot of calories. Now, it's good because it helps to stimulate muscle growth and it will help to partition those calories towards muscle growth and recovery, but it's still easy to overeat. So don't use the fact that you work out in the gym as justification to eat whatever you want. We see this a lot, right? And especially in the guys who are on the perma bulk, the power lifters, you know, the big guys. I mean, you go to any gym, you're going to see the big guys in there, and they're lifting heavy, training hard, and everything else. And they're big, and they're bulked, and they're wearing their hoodies and everything else. But if they were to peel off their shirt, like, there's no abdominal definition showing. They still got a roll of belly fat on top of a lot of muscle mass. So if you want to have that lean, athletic-looking physique, defined muscle definition, you need to be in a calorie deficit, and one of the ways you can do that is obviously increasing your activity level. Now, I'm a big fan of low-intensity cardio along with weight training, and I refer to this as my yin and yang training system. So when you do high-intensity weight training, that's stressing the muscles, it's breaking down muscle tissue, and it's providing the stimulus for your body to rest, recover, and grow and build new muscle. Cardio training, on the other hand, it's a fat burning exercise. So it's low intensity, and it's something that you can do without stressing your central nervous system. And I find that that's actually good for active recovery because it helps to increase blood flow and circulation. It helps burn calories, helps to tap into burning body fat, and it's a very good complementary mix. So what I usually recommend for most of my coaching students, and what I do most of the time myself, is I will do weight training one day and cardio the next. Weight training one day, cardio the next. So I'm getting this, I refer to it as yin and yang, high intensity weight training, the low intensity cardio. And by alternating them day for day, you get the benefits of daily exercise, you know, the mental benefits, the stress relief, all that stuff, the endorphins and the feel good hormones that come about from regular exercise, plus the fitness benefits. but you're getting the muscle building and fat burning benefits as well. And ironically, you'll burn more calories from the cardio than you will from the weight training. Like if you go to the gym and you lift weights for an hour, or you go and do cardio for an hour, there's actually more calories being burned in the hour of cardio because you're moving nonstop for an entire hour. Whereas with weight training, you're stop, go, right? You do a set and then you rest a minute or two. You do a set and you rest a minute or two. Like on average, every set of weight training exercise you do, you're burning about 10 calories. Like that's it. Now it may fluctuate depending on your size and your intensity and all that, but on average, a general ballpark rule, 10 calories a set. So you go to the gym, you do 20 sets, you just burn 200 calories. Whereas if you go and you do an hour of cardio, you could very likely burn 500 or more calories depending on how intense you go and how big your body is. Obviously, the bigger the body, the more calories you're going to burn. But you will burn more calories doing cardio than you will from weight training. So that's why I like to combine both. If you want to create that calorie deficit, you want to do so by filling up on the high volume, nutrient dense foods so that you get satiated with fewer calories. And then you're doing daily exercise to help increase your calorie expenditure. And you're also doing the cardio. The cardio there is what's going to tip the scale in favor of maximum fat burning. And I'm not a huge fan of the high intensity cardio because high intensity cardio is more similar to weight training than it is cardio. Like when you see guys going like running sprints and going flat out, that's almost like doing a heavy set of squats. Like it's short bursts of high intensity. Whereas when you do longer duration cardio, walking or cycling or hiking or just using the cardio machines at the gym, like you're walking on the treadmill or the stepper or the rower and you're doing it for prolonged periods of time, that's when you really burn a lot of calories, and you also start to tap into burning body fat because you're in that fat burning zone, right? So this is where you can really make some good strides if your main goal is fat loss, is increasing your cardio. And the cool thing about it is it doesn't all have to be done in a single go. Like you can space it out throughout the day. And this was something that I did myself when I was trying to get back in shape after 40. Like if you're familiar with my story and my situation, like I was a former competitive bodybuilder back in the day, and I used to be able to get in shape for the short term with, extreme low calorie cutting diets and stuff like that. But I couldn't sustain it long term because it wasn't a habit and lifestyle change. It was just this short term mentality, and then I'd always go back to my old habits afterwards. And as soon as you go back to your old habits, you regain the weight again. So I had to make a mental shift, a lifestyle shift, right? Not habit shift, if you will, not just going on a diet. So one of the habits that I made is I'm going to do daily exercise no matter what. And that could be going to the gym for a weight training workout. That could be going outside for a walk. And I'm going to take advantage of little bursts of exercise throughout the day. So if I don't have time to go to the gym for a 2-hour workout, it doesn't mean I don't have time to exercise. I mean, maybe I got 15 minutes and I can just go for a little walk around the block. Or maybe I got 15 minutes and I can do a little body weight circuit at home of push-ups and squats and some ab work. Or maybe I got some dumbbells and resistance bands and I can throw in some extra exercises there. But take advantage of little bursts of exercise. This is a game changer because chances are you have lots of little opportunities throughout the day where you could do short workouts, but you probably have few opportunities where you can go and do like a 2-hour marathon workout at the gym. And if you take advantage of all those little opportunities, the small opportunities, it's going to compound over time. Now, I mean, if you do a 10-minute workout or you go for a 15-minute walk or something like that, in and of itself, no, it's not going to make much difference. But if you start compounding that day after day, week after week, month after month, and you do it frequently, it's going to compound and make a big difference. Just like vice versa, if you have some bad habits, like if you eat a hamburger today, you're not going to be fat tomorrow. But if you keep eating hamburgers and french fries every single day, it's going to compound and it's going to add up to a lot of extra body fat over the long term. So you need to think of long-term averages and not just short-term bursts. And a lot of guys have this mental block thinking that, hey, if I can't work out for 2 hours or I can't do an hour of cardio or whatever, then I don't have time to work out. But then there's probably lots of times throughout the day where you got these little bursts like, hey, I got 20 minutes, I got 10 minutes, I can do something. And I'm telling you right now, something is better than nothing. So take advantage of all these little opportunities and it'll make a huge difference. And the big thing that I want you to wrap your head around here is let go of the all or nothing extreme approach. That all or nothing approach is ultimately setting you up for failure. Like people try to be perfect. They think, well, once I get the perfect diet and the perfect workout and my schedule is perfect and I have nothing on the go, like everything is clear. My calendar is clear and all the stars are aligned in the heavens above. Like once everything's perfect, then I'm going to start the program. And guess what? It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be stuff happening. You're always going to be busy. There's always going to be new challenges and struggles, and stuff is going to happen. It's never going to be perfect. So stop looking for perfection and look for good enough. It just has to be good enough, but good enough consistently. And this was the game changer. This was the mindset shift that I adopted over the last several years that has allowed me to lose the weight, get in shape, and then maintain it as a lifestyle. And for the past 3 years now, I've had visible abdominal definition every day for 3 years. I mean, that is something I never ever achieved when I was competing as a bodybuilder, because all I had was that all or nothing approach where I would go on the crazy extreme, low carb diet, burning the candle at both ends, doing marathon 2-hour workouts plus cardio and just like exhausting myself. And I would like live like a monk for maybe like 3 or 4 months at a time, going through my pre-contest cut, and everything will get put on pause. I wouldn't go out to restaurants. I wouldn't do any social events or anything like that. Like I lived like a monk for basically 3 or 4 months before a contest, and I went all in. Now, it's great when you're all in. Like, yeah, you can make some rapid progress, but it's not sustainable. I mean, how long can you live like that before you finally get to the point where you just say, screw it, it's not worth it, I don't want to do this anymore, and you go back to your old habits? And that's what would happen to me every time I did a bodybuilding show. I mean, yeah, I would get in shape. I would look pretty good on stage. And once the placings were announced and the photos were taken and everything else, then it was like, look out. Where's the all-you-can-eat buffet? Where's the ice cream shop? Where's the pizza place, right? Where's the bakery? I would just go and start binging on all the crap that I was craving leading up to the contest. And I had that all or nothing, right? All in or nothing. And I've let go of that approach, and now I just focus on being good enough, but good enough consistently. And nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits. I mean, if I crave something and I really want to have a cheat meal or something like that, then I will indulge in a cheat. But I do so smart, and I do so in a way that keeps things under control and minimizes the damage. So I'll give you an example. Like a few weeks ago, we ordered a pizza. Now, back in the day when I used to order pizza, I'd always get the biggest, ginormous jumbo pizza that the pizza place offered, and I would stuff myself on pizza, and then I'd have leftover pizza the next day. And very often, that pizza binge ended up turning into a whole weekend binge. So let's say I ordered the pizza on a Friday night. I would sit down and eat 6 or 7 slices on Friday night, and then Saturday I still had leftover pizza, so I was eating that. And then I was like, you know what? I already blew the diet. Guess what? I'll start again on Monday. And so Friday night, binge. Saturday, binge. And then Sunday, I definitely binge, because you know what? Hey, diet's going to start on Monday. I better get those cravings out of the system now. So Sunday, I'd go to the all-you-can-eat buffet and probably go out for brunch and chips and pancakes and burgers and french fries and ice cream and get all those cravings out of my system, because gosh darn it, on Monday, the diet's going to start. And I want to be on track so I can give it 100% then on Monday. And I used to do that over and over again. And yeah, okay, you diet strict from Monday to Thursday, and then you blow it again on Friday, binge all weekend, and like whatever progress you made through those few days of all in, you totally undo it on those few days of binging on the weekend. So I've let go of this extreme all or nothing approach, and now I focus on good enough, but good enough consistently. So one of the strategies that we do now is, when we ordered the pizza, first I filled up on protein and veggies. So I had a large garden salad, and I chopped up a chicken breast and I put in there with the salad. So that pre-filled my belly and took the edge off the hunger. Right? So I got the protein and veggies, I got the high nutrient dense foods in there. And then afterwards, I had 2 slices of pizza. And once I had the 2 slices of pizza on top of the big garden salad and the chicken breast, like I was full. I was totally satiated. And I still got the craving of pizza out of my system. I got to enjoy the pizza, savor it. I mean, it tasted good and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but 2 slices was enough. Whereas if I had done it the old way, I would have started eating the pizza when I was famished, and I'd probably end up eating 6 or 7 slices before I got full. Whereas this way, I ate 2 slices and was totally satisfied. When it comes to junk food, the more you eat doesn't make it any better. Like the 3rd slice of pizza is not going to taste any better than the 2nd slice. You know, when you're eating chips or cookies, like after you eat so many of them, you kind of got the taste and satisfaction. Like it doesn't get better the more you eat, right? Like the 2nd bowl of ice cream doesn't taste any better than the 1st bowl. Right? Like, it doesn't get better the more you eat. So what I recommend is, if you're craving something, then go satisfy that craving, but do so with a small portion. A small portion so that you get the craving satisfied, and then you can forget about it and move on, versus ignoring those cravings and then end up having a big binge afterwards. And this is what a lot of people do. Maybe you're craving some ice cream, and instead of having a small bowl of ice cream or a single serving ice cream or something like that, you keep saying, nope, not gonna have the ice cream, not gonna have the ice cream, not gonna have it. And then the craving starts to build, and you start obsessing over it. And you're always thinking about it because it's just there, and you're obsessing, and then eventually you get to the point where, like, screw it, I can't stand it anymore, and then you end up like slamming back a whole container of ice cream. Whereas if you had to nip the craving in the bud when it was small, you could have just satisfied it, like had a small serving of ice cream, or went to the ice cream shop and got like a little kitty size ice cream cone or something like that, satisfied the craving, and then forget about it and move on. And this is my strategy now. So, I still have my cheats, but they're small cheats, and I manage them before they get out of control. So if I'm starting to crave something, I don't let it build. I satisfy that craving as soon as it hits so I can forget about it, move on, and get back on track for my very next meal. I don't wait till Monday, and none of this BS is start again on Monday. I start again for my very next meal. And if you do that, you're going to minimize the damage. Because like I mentioned before, like, you just think you cheat on Friday, and because of that, then you say, oh, I'm going to start again on Monday. So Friday night you cheat, Saturday you cheat, Sunday you cheat, and think of all that damage done. Like, you totally undid a full week or more of diet and exercise because you're going to start your diet on Monday, right? And you're going to go all in. Whereas if you had your cheat on Friday and you say, you know what, I'm going to get back on track next meal. So Saturday morning, you're on a healthy diet, exercise, back to your routine again. You just minimize the damage, and it's good enough, but good enough consistently so you can make progress over the long term. And that's what this is all about. It's long-term averages. It's about making progress long-term and not trying to suffer it out in the short term. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Podcast. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the podcast, and if you know someone who could benefit from today's episode, please feel free to share it with them. And if you would like some help with your own fitness goals, maybe it's building muscle, losing fat, improving your health, getting in your best shape, if you would like some help with that, then feel free to reach out to me. I have my contact information down in the show notes below, and you can book in for a free one-on-one strategy session coaching call with me, and we can discuss a realistic action plan that's right for you. And if I feel that you're a good fit, I may invite you to come on board and join our VIP coaching program. And if it's not a good fit and I feel that I'm not the right person to help you, then I'm not going to give you hype or BS, but I will point you in the right direction to somebody who can help you. I've got a large network of people in the fitness industry, so if I don't feel that you're a good fit for our coaching program or that I can help you, I'll be able to point you in the right direction to somebody who can. So either way, at the end of your free strategy session coaching call, you'll walk away with better insights on what you need to do next in order to reach your health and fitness goals. So that clues it up for today's episode, and we'll be back again next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with another episode of the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Podcast. Take care. Over and out.